GM. Welcome back, everyone, to another Trenches with
GM
Joe.
guys, GM. You don't have the camera today, Spam.
No, so funny enough, I left it in my girlfriend's car who went to work this morning. And then at like 9:30, I was like, oh, shit, I do not have the mask. No, we're PFP spam today. No,
Is Levi coming?
I think Levi's traveling right now.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. All right, let's do a quick rundown. So, yeah, I mean, you know my stance all week, right? I've been bearish, and we're finally seeing like breakdown across the board. I have been short since Monday, and it has been really tough to hold these shorts, especially after this move down on Monday. I was like, shit, we're finally breaking down. Then we just retraced the whole thing. But then it's coming back down again. So I still think that we've topped, to be honest. Like, I see people saying, we could still defend this level of 100K, 101K. I think it's possible too. I did say before that, you know, there's two scenarios here. Either we get like a super shallow pullback, like 100K minimum, a maximum, and then another leg higher to all-time highs, or we just go full deep pullback right now. Um, I mean, everything's pointing to just, more downside for the rest of the week, to be honest. If we look at, yeah, so we haven't broke the Monday range yet. Let's see. So, yeah, Monday high was 105.8. Monday low was 100.6. I think Monday range is a very important, it's a very good strategy to play. Like, if we break the Monday low today, I would expect even on Friday that will go even lower. Just because usually you put in the high or the low on Monday and then the opposite side. So we put on the high on Monday, then usually the low does not come midweek. It will come like, Friday or even the weekend. So I think the play here is like, you know, if you're long, you should be taking profit now because we're definitely. I feel like we're gonna correct. I mean, there's a chance that we might just defend this level here and go up higher, but I'm just not seeing it right now. Just also given the backdrop of like what's going on in the world. Like, I think if you read CT, you think to yourself, "Oh man, like we're so risk on, we're so back." But the truth of the matter is, we're not getting rate cuts until July. Like even next month, people are predicting there will be no rate cuts. And bond yields are like now creeping up, right? So, this is a 10-year US Treasury notes. And right now it's 4.5%, which is quite high. The last time we were at this level was literally around April 11th, which is Liberation Day. And we're now back at that level again. I think right now there's not much of a concern, but obviously with the rates yield so high, there is worry about inflation still. So I don't think we're like at a super risk on level yet. You know, I think it's possible that we might break all time high in the next few weeks, but will it mean we'll go like 150K right now? I really doubt it. So I would say like if you're long, you should be taking profit on the way up. And if you're not long, just wait for a pullback. You could be like me too and short, but when the trend is strong like this, you can also get wrecked shorting. So sometimes the best thing to do is just to stay sidelined and just wait for a pullback. Now the question is like, if you are sidelined and waiting for a pullback, where do you bid, right? I think a lot of people were saying, if you look at the EMAs, we have the 100 EMA, which is the orange one, and that's around 99K. And it also lines up. I think that level also lines up with the yearly their yearly VWAP, which is green here, about just under 100K, and also the monthly VWAP as well. But I personally don't like that level. I think a lot of people will bid it. The reason why I don't like it is just because, yeah, I mean, we could defend that level. I just think that there's a lot of these, like this staircase pattern. I mentioned this so many times in the past, where you have like higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. In my experience, I've just seen them being taken out so quickly. That's why I'm of the thinking, like, either we get a shallow pullback and we defend this level now and go up higher, or we go something lower, like, like low 90s at the minimum. That's what I'm thinking right now. But obviously, it depends on how we get down as well. If we go down violently, then I might think differently, or if we go down in a chopwise fashion, I might think differently as well. I'll look at some other alts. Tell me what to look at, guys. Just kind of reading through chat. So let's look at ETH, because ETH has been on a massive tear. Yeah, I mean, so ETH has, like, first of all, it hit this pink line, which is the monthly NPOC. So that's a huge level, and it has already started to reject from that. But I think someone mentioned this on Twitter. But if you draw like a volume profile from, this range here, is it here? Yeah, you see like this level here, the level with the highest volume, right? The orange dotted line, dashed line. We basically hit that level. So this level of 2,700 is like, it is a strong resistance zone. It also lines up with the monthly NPOC. So, you know, I think that 2,700 is probably the top. Um, I do think, however, that there is possibility that we retrace in here and we might come back down again. So I would like also just advise not getting too aggressive with shorts, because people will be like, oh, we're finally topped. And also, when people see this move up, they're so desperate to short. But if you're late to shorting, you can easily get wrecked here as well. So if you're not short now, I would not short. If it does retrace here, like let's say it comes back to the if we draw a fib here and comes back to the 618 level, I would look for short there. But my general thinking is like, a lot of these alts have topped. I think ETH is the one. So ETH looks the strongest out of all the alts. Solana, yeah, Solana, like during this chop this week, Solana actually made a new high, and that made me think that it was strong. Like this level of 178, right? I have two, a yellow and turquoise line there. It's a big level. And when it broke past it, I was like, wow, okay, it's probably gonna do like a Ethereum and start moving up like this way. But instead it didn't, and it came back down again. And that's just clear weakness. Like once it came back into this range of this yellow line and turquoise line, I just shorted here. I just shorted here like this, basically. If it was bullish, it should come back to that range, and that signaled clear weakness to me. I think it's top tier as well. Let's look at AVAX, because a lot of our audience are AVAX people. I think it's also, so AVAX is probably like most other alts, where after the Monday high, it didn't make another high. And when this pattern just looks ugly as hell. It's like a very corrective pattern. It's definitely not impulsive. It's very corrective. Like people will see this strong move up and think, wow, that is so bullish. But you can actually correct upwards as well. This is a very corrective pattern, and yeah, I think that everything looks kind of similar to this. Very, very corrective. Like we are definitely, you can already see just today, like we've corrected quite a bit already. Let's look at some meme coins, for example. Um, Pepe. Pepe is kind of same as well. You know, After the Monday high, it failed to make a new high, and then now it's like, I think it's probably just gonna retrace a lot of this. We also have this, like, basically, like most alts, there's this massive, massive gap. Like some of that will get filled. A big portion of it probably will get filled. You know, yeah, these are like also just massive gaps. They're light blue if they're not touched yet. So I would not be looking to bid alts until at least some of these gaps have been touched. If we come back to AVAX, for example, go to the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, no one will think about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back to down to $20 again. Yeah, any questions?
No questions, but I know this coin's not necessarily a big favorite among a lot of people in crypto, but a lot of the outside world seems to interact with it. What do you think? Like, pull up the XRP chart and kind of give a little bit of an analysis on that. It's been one of the ones that's like really ripped
Yeah.
so far, like through the cycle.
Yeah, I think I can't remember where I was reading it from, but my general take is that this is actually a really bullish chart. There's nothing bearish about this chart at all. Like, very clear impulsive move. It looks better than most alts. It's probably better than every alt out there, even better than Solana. Like Solana, yeah, Solana looks very corrective right now. Like, what does it mean to be corrective, right? So, I'm not an elevate theory specialist, but I do recommend reading about it because it tells you what the difference between corrective and impulsive waves are. So corrective is like this, where this level here does not touch with this level here, right? That's impulsive, and you have these gaps where the top and the trough here doesn't touch. But then, like, if you can also correct upwards. That's the thing that fucks people over. Is like you can actually do this, and that's like technically you've gone up, but this is still a corrective move. It's corrective because this level has impeded now with this level. Like, sorry, we just redraw that. Like this is corrective to me. Even though we've still gone up, like this top and this bottom have like overlapped. So XRP, like, this it's clear that this move up here is super correct, super impulsive. And I think that it retraced like a fair amount, and it's looking like it's probably, it wouldn't surprise me if we break all time like this $3.4 region again later this year. And I think it's hard for people to understand. It's like, well, Ripple has this like fascinating reputation on CT of being a meme. But honestly, like, if there's one coin that will benefit the most from US regulations and the Trump admin, it's probably like, it's definitely going to be Ripple. You can just tell that like the Trump admin is very strong on getting cozy with regulators, but also stable coins, right? And Ripple also has a stable coin now. So I do think that it's probably like a good buy. I think that for a lot of people, it can be hard to imagine that just because the FTV is already so high. And I think at some point, like in the last 6 months, it actually flipped Ethereum for a bit. But honestly, it won't surprise me if it continues to outperform. Like, on the other hand, if you look at the high time frame analysis of Solana, it's like, yeah, it's just looking that like the impulsive move is this. In my very brief analysis of Elliott wave, like this is the impulsive move, right? And now we're still correcting. This is like, so we're gonna do this and correct, in my opinion. Obviously, that's like it might not do that exactly, but it's hard to tell whether it's starting a new impulse wave or it's going to continue to correct still. Um, Also, what else? So Bitcoin, yeah, I mean order book. So on the order book side, we have like a lot of asks at 105K that kind of lines up with our thinking here. Like 105K is the big resistance, but also we have a bunch of bids here at 101K, and I think that we have to also understand like there's a big options expiry tomorrow. And I think there's also a big one for TradFi as well. And there's like 2.7 billion of worth of options expiring on Friday morning. The max payment of 100K, which means if price is 100K at expiry, then most of these options expire worthless and the market makers make money. So what you often see leading up to expiry day is like, whales or market makers, they'll try and keep Bitcoin in the tight range so that when it expires, they get to profit the most.
So what's the cause?
So I
What's the Yeah,
what's the
what's
what,
like
sorry?
the cause for it being a big expiry day? Is it just like by coincidence, or is there like some reason in particular?
Yeah, it's just people buying a lot of options. They're buying puts or calls. And usually the market makers are the ones who's selling those options. And the max pain says at 100K, most of those puts and calls will expire worthless, which means that the market makers don't have to pay out huge sums of money to people. It doesn't always happen though. I think Subbits, like that guy in Discord, he's a very big options guy. And on this run up to, from 85K to 95K, but even also this run up too, what happened was the max pain was actually quite low, but because it ran up, a lot of these market makers had to like they were going to get wrecked otherwise by paying out all these options. So they had to hedge by basically going long the asset, which only fueled the move up more. They call it gamma squeeze. I think that's what's called. All right. Yeah, that's it for me, guys. Do you guys want me to look at anything else?
Um, do you know if Launchcoin is on there? I know it's pretty new,
Yeah.
but that's kind of like the thing that's hot on the streets at the moment. Might have to go to the 15 or 5 minute.
Yeah, it's the Pasternak coin, right? I think it's better to look at Launch Coin, like because it used to be called Pasternak. A better, more history here. Yeah, here we go. I mean, this is like the most insane chart ever. You know, it's like up only. I think you can't do TA on this. It's just so hard. Um, I would just look at fundamentals first and foremost, like 263 million FDV. What's the highest coin that's launched out of there? Is it Dupe? Dupe, I think, right? Yeah, Dupe is 20 million. Okay, so it's not absurd that's worth 264 million FDV. Yeah, I mean, can't really tell just by looking at it, to be honest. It's definitely like it was in the overbought regions. Now it's coming down a lot as well.
Yeah, I feel like also a big impact of just
Yeah,
like having a lot of hype on Twitter, everyone just piling in, and like usually like
yeah.
things only have CT mind share for so long, and then it'll just kind of revert back.
So this is the daily candle, right? And this is like it looks like today might be the first red day. And what I would do would be like I just draw a line here. You see how it's adjacent candles, so one green, one red. So the close of this one is the open of today. And I'll just put a line there like that. And that will be like a daily level for me. And I do the same for weekly levels and monthly levels. There's not enough data for the weekly level and monthly levels. So what I would do is like now that I have that level, after today, what I expect, it looks like the parabolic phase is probably coming to an end. You never know. But I do expect something like this in the next few days. Like if this is the top, then I expect it won't be a swift violent rejection down, probably take some time. If it is a continuation, I still think the same. It'll probably be a consolidation. And then if you want to decide whether it's continuation or top, then I start using other indicators. I'll look at, for example, you have perp data for this, and wait, let's see, FDV, sorry, the funding rate. Oh wow, the funding has gone crazy. 0.38%. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this makes another leg higher, to be honest. Just because this blue line is a CVD, and you can see here, it's like it's making a higher low like that. Let me try to find a different color. It's making a higher low, but then the CVD is making a lower low, right? Okay, I don't know why it's letting me draw, but this blue line is making a lower low, which means people are market selling, either shorts are opening or longs are closing, and it's not making price go down. So someone's absorbing that price with market bids, sorry, limit bids, which is usually a good sign, a bullish sign. So yeah, I don't think it's topped yet. I think it could still go higher, but it's definitely like, it looks like it's probably losing steam a little bit. I would not short this if you're asking me. I think someone asked that in Discord.
I guess a little side point from the price action. How much do you think these guys, like the whole Believe app, has spent on like KOL marketing? Because I feel like that was just like all the big names with like kind of blatant paid shills.
Yeah, you know, we've been discussing this because we've mainly been on Avalanche, and Avalanche is a much smaller ecosystem, but we have been on Solana. We launched Token Mill V1 on Solana, and what we noticed is like it's super hard to get traction there, even just like uh, a little word of mouth. And I've come to the realization that most of the people you see, like most of the KOLs, they all work for some kind of agency. So 100% they are paying people to, talk about Believe app. I don't know how much, but definitely like this is not organic. They've thought about their go-to market strategy. They've rebranded everything. I'm pretty sure they had the blessing of the Solana Foundation as well. You know, this whole idea of like internet capital markets, like it sounds very cringy, but also Solana is very, very good at that kind of stuff. Like not necessarily the cringy stuff, but having these terms that completely change. I think every before it was like tokenize everything, right? Now it's internet capital markets, and that was deliberate. It's like internet capital markets makes you think, oh, there's something to back. Like I want to back this young, fresh out of Harvard, startup founder. Rather than like, oh, I just want to make a token out of what he's doing. Like it's very, very different. But for sure, they have spent money on marketing and creator KOLs and all that kind of stuff. Like without a doubt.
Yeah, there's nothing else. We can
Right.
probably move into trenches.
All right. I'm gonna stop sharing then.
All right, let me share my screen.
I think people want to trench arena shooters today, right?
Yeah, I think so. Let me do a little quick check of the trenches chat. I did a little shout out from with like the gem finders, see what they got going on. So yeah, Vibe basically said literally anything in arena. So I think
Yeah,
the one from the other day was ID.
yeah, I
This
did the
one,
OG one.
yeah, this one was like I feel like the first one to really pump. Um, let's see, yeah, sitting at 14 right now, peaking 18 to 20 some odd range. Um, what is there anything special that this one does, or like do we know who launched this?
I think it's
Set guy
yeah,
Russell.
Russell.
What's is there anything like special about him? Is he just like a arena
Uh,
OG, like one of their what do they call them, champions?
he's a known crypto lawyer working with Ket. I think he's been working for Evolabs on some services for them, but that's basically all. That's the main reason why we know him. And he launched like the first token on Arena, so everyone just went behind him and bought the token. And now it's handling quite well. I think most of the Arena token are going down after the uptrend, but this one is currently staying at a good level. I was expecting him to go back to like 10 million, but still doesn't want to go to such level yet. Uh, might be a nice entry soon. Not sure to enter now if I want to enter Integrity now, but I think that the only major coin that you can bid on Arena and stay confident right now, and for the others, it's very risky.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be like a good buy around like 8 million market cap. Yeah, right now it's kind of like in a weird phase where like you could just miss a fat leg up, but seems like it's kind of risky, especially two consecutive red candles. Seems like it could be preparing for a little move down. But yeah, even anything in like the 8 to 10 million range seems like a pretty decent buy. I mean, granted, it's only what like 10 days old.
If it goes to 10 million, I'm definitely buying it. And yeah, we had Hope coming yesterday.
Is
So it was
that
launched from a
this
guy with
one?
like 1 million followers on Twitter, but I don't really know who he is.
Is it this one? I feel like it's this one.
Oh, that's the board Elon Musk one, right?
Yeah, I think that's the name of the guy.
Yeah, a bit of a weird chart pattern. But I mean, still under. I mean, it really never hit. It briefly hit like a mil market cap, but really nothing
And the
too
bonding curve
crazy.
of Arena tokens is a bit weird. Like for when AVAX, you get a lot of the supply just before it bonds. So a lot of people just have a lot of the supply, and when it's start to moon, they are just dumping with size, and that's why we often see this type of charts going up and many big sales on the chart. It's hard sometimes to pump those tokens with the early entrants just exiting on us.
Yeah, especially because what is it, 2.5% go to arena champions? Am I
Yeah,
correct
but
on that? I feel like I've seen that.
yeah, it's 2.5%, but most of the time it's just dust for the Arena champions. I don't know how many people are Arena champions, maybe more than 100, 150, I think. But yeah, it's some small selling pressure. So Hope was like the winner of yesterday. We had also Crime that did well, like on Monday and Tuesday.
Take a look at that one.
Yeah. So we've seen it like around 50K in the Discord, and it went like to 4 million within like 1 or 2 hours. Then went back down, visited the 80H again, and now it's just going down, ranging. Hard to say if it will recover. I feel like it's small pump.fun that is happening right now on Avalanche. Like we have many tokens like pumping hard and then going to the ground, and then people are just moving to the next token.
Yeah, it's hard to. Who made Crime?
I think it's linked to Noshilio community. I don't know who's behind it exactly, but it was them. Maybe the reason why they were able to pump the token like that.
Yeah, it seems like it's not in a like. I guess if it just fully fades to irrelevancy and just like curves all the way back down, but at this point, if it is going to last, seems like it's a pretty good buying opportunity.
Vibe says Hop, Crime, ID, Banana, Knobs, and Goon.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on Nobs since it's not made from Nobs himself. It was like a copy pasta of the Void Color guy that created the Wrath Tank token yesterday. Yeah, basically it's just fake token linked to like KOLs from Avalanche that just pumping and then dumping since they are not like supported by the guy.
Yeah, has
I
he
wouldn't.
tweeted anything about it?
No, he just said he's not behind it. He won't sell the token that he received for free. That's all. He won't race about it.
Yeah, it seems like one you gotta get in before everyone knows that it's not him behind
Yeah,
it. Because like this little ride up, it seems like
yeah.
nice
The same
little
happened
profit.
yesterday with Ross. I bought it before going to sleep, and I woke up like in losing like 80% of my position.
Jeez, this is why I sold Crime so quickly. I was like, I had to actually take that immediately.
Yeah, I exited Cram yesterday, but for like around 2 million maximum. But I've sold in the way up, the uptrend.
And take a look at banana. Eat the banana.
Banana is like a stable coin. Like
Yeah, it's not doing
if
anything
you
right
zoom
now.
out, like for a meme coin, it's not going that down.
I think Arena's biggest stumbling block will be trying to get new people to come in other than the same like Avalanche people.
Yeah,
I think they just launched as well, so there will be like we know how these product launches go. It's very rare that they're home runs from day one. Even Pump Fun took a while, so I think Arena like it's gonna take some time before they get to where they really want to be, where like you have runners every day or maybe multiple runners every day.
yeah, we
Yeah,
need a lot of runners to attract like people from other ecosystems. If you only have like one or two, they won't even hear about it.
yeah. I mean, some of the stories definitely, hopefully, as they like kind of permeate Twitter, would be good. Because the guy, forgetting his name, but he hit like it was like a 200x on ID. Was calling it pretty early. It's like I feel like people are love like mad success stories of just like hitting the triple digit X's, and that usually attracts. Plus, I think like I'm guessing Arena is taking like some portion of fees from these coins. So like hopefully from there.
I think they made quite a bit already, like at least 1 million in just a week, which is insane.
Yeah, no, to
Yeah,
hit a eight figure market cap just kind of in your first week is pretty good. Especially too, it just seems like there's a new launch pad, a token launch pad that comes out every week. Let's take a look at Goon. There's another one vibe called sitting at 450, 460. I don't like this this little red candle, but um does seem like it's just hitting this 400K line. Maybe this can be support. I mean, it's hard to ever say there's true support on a 13-hour old meme coin, but
What's the story behind this? Is it like someone created this that we know?
um,
not even know who's behind it.
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is just one of the
Just
ones Vibe called, and I know he's pretty plugged in. I think he is an arena champion, so he's super plugged into everything going on in arena.
I mean, my play is like buy anything that looks cool and is under 100K market cap.
yeah.
Like I refuse to buy anything over over 200K just because I'm scared to get dumped.
Yeah, especially on a new launch pad. Like maybe with some of the stuff that comes out of Pump Fun, you can know that it could rip to like 10 mil, but with these it's like a little more touch and go.
And that's the main risk with integrity as well. I know many people with these like 6 digit bags on it, but they are not selling, and the liquidity isn't big enough to handle the sale from all the top holders. So
You mean Integrity
yeah,
DAO?
integrity DAO.
Oh man, this is gonna be nasty then. This is the thing, like people don't want to sell, but You have to look at liquidity. So Integrity DAO has 400K of liquidity, right? It means that only four people can exit with 100K. I mean, that's an overestimation, probably less than that. Probably only like two people can exit with 100K each.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
main risk when we have people with big bags like that. If they don't want to hold, they can just fish the short. And if nobody's buying back, it's just dead.
yeah, and some people hold a lot of supply. Like even just whoever holds like 2 or 3% could wipe out all the liquidity in one FSH. But I mean, 2.2K holders is pretty good, at least compared to some of the other coins we looked at coming out of Arena. I mean, I guess it drops off like relatively quick. This is good. Someone also called Wrath.
My only concern with Avalanche meme coins is summit next week. Many people will just be busy at the event. So I don't know what is going to happen on
Not
chain.
not if they're trading on LFJ.
Yeah, they can trade on LFJ from their phone during summit.
I mean, that's what we're gonna do, Nesta. We're gonna get
Yeah,
people to trade on their phone at the summit.
Aping the shitters. All right, this is
and even to buy and to sell, I was using the one click trading wallets because it's way faster. You don't have to approve anything, and sometimes when it just pumps hard, you know that people are just rushing to sell, and you want to sell before them. Yeah, so this is a fake for us token. I bought it before going to sleep yesterday, and I woke up, it was full.
yeah. No, someone in Disco Chuck in the Discord said it was by Smokey and a friend of Wrath to just grief him. uh, yeah, I can only imagine like the people that didn't know it wasn't launched by him, just like hitting him in the DMs and his replies, just like, "What the fuck? Like, why is your token dumping?" uh,
Yeah, and the funny thing is that Ras already has a token like Heresy, and this one went higher than the market cap of Heresy.
actually, going back to the kind of Believe launch coin, let me look at Yapper. I saw this one yesterday. There are people talking about this one yesterday. I'm pretty sure it's tied to like AI video editor. I don't know if it's like face swaps or like deep fakes, but just like general AI video creation. Um, but funny enough, the guy that created this is like went to Harvard, and I met him at like Solana Boston. It was probably like January, February when that happened. Um, I mean, obviously like smart kid, but it was just super funny. Everyone like in the replies being like, why can't you integrate this token into your platform and stuff like that. And I think that's probably one of the holdups of like the whole internet market and believe stuff is that like people from web 2 don't really understand the social pressures that come from launching a token. I mean, this one got all the way up to like 25, 28 mil market cap. um, People being optimistic and like seeing the founder's CV, but um, yeah, I guess if it's not like integrated, it is just like a meme coin that exists alongside your product.
Yeah, I think people like really underestimate how little of Web3, Web2 folks know. Like we've worked with all the big gaming giants on Avalanche, like Shrapnel, Gunzilla, not really Maple Story, but from what we know is like these guys they don't know anything about on-chain stuff. That's why Maple Story, for example, the NXPC token, it's not even on the DEX right now because they just want to go on the SEX. Like for them, like being on chain is very very foreign. So yeah, I'm very skeptical how these Believe Coin app traders will adjust to like the craziness of Web3. it's not that much different to being a Web2 founder, but like there is the added pressure of like people buying your token, there's money involved, and they say some crazy shit if they get angry.
Yeah, I mean the toxicity that can come out from CT definitely it's like just a very siloed part of Twitter that I mean if you're not deliberately on it, you're not gonna see it and you're not gonna like understand it. Um and honestly,
Yeah, it's basically what I deal
yeah,
with
and
every
it's just
day.
like a bit unfortunate for people coming in and just getting blindsided by that. I mean, generally within crypto, I feel like there has to be better vectors for like people getting introduced. I feel like that's like a big deterrent, even just like I don't know, a few months ago when Pump Fun was like really popping off, and then you had like high schoolers downloading like Phantom and trading shitters like during class. But they quickly found out what like honeypots were and stuff like that, and we're just like, you know, for like a high schooler losing like $50 is a shit ton. Where like a lot of people within crypto, you say you lost $50, and everyone's just like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Let's take a look if there's anything promising coming up within the trenches page. Let's take a look at Launch Lab. Do we know, does Launch Lab have the same bonding curve as Pump Fun? I feel like that's something I haven't looked into
Um,
too much of like the difference in like bonding curves and like necessary market caps to graduate.
I think they're pretty much all the same. Like they all pretty much use the same bonding curve as Uniswap P2, or very similar at least.
And like that entails them having like the like same market cap requirement for graduation.
No, that's up to them. But the bonding curve just basically means like for each token bought, how much does price move?
Take a look at Mac. I mean, this is a tough looking chart, but I guess it hasn't bonded yet. 162 and it still hasn't bonded. It's kind of crazy. So it must be like 200K on Launch Lab for Radium. At least that's what it looks like. This one hasn't bonded yet. But yeah, 49 holders is tough. I mean, yeah, just a bunch of people with 10% of supply. Wouldn't be surprised if that was like bundled. A lot of people just loving bonkitis.
I mean, I think the big reason why Bonk Fun is doing well is because of that one token Hosiko. But that one's doing well because Bonk Guy, the Bonk Guy, PCS, he was the one who basically gave his blessing to like Bonk Fun Launchpad, and now there's a cabal running, like trying to pump these tokens.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the meta is just like the platform.
They call it Launchpad
Yeah,
wars.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean, if you strip away all that, I don't think the Launchpad is not that interesting. It's just like pump fun, but creators get more fees. And we've had a lot of those launch pads like GoFundMe, Pumpkin.Fun. Even Token Mill V1 was like that. I just struggle to see like how that will provide them with a strong enough moat to compete with Pump Fun.
yeah, definitely. It's like how do you differentiate yourself to like actually have something more interesting that's like more intriguing to the people using Pump Fun that they would want to switch over.
Yeah. I mean, it's like trying to come in with a new perp dex, but saying, "Hey, we offer lower fees in Hyperliquid," right? I think some people might be enticed to go over, but are you going to take significant market share from Hyperliquid? I just don't think so. For me, the moat is just not strong enough. Like, there's not enough product differentiation to create a moat where you'll be like, wow, they're gonna really threaten pump fun here. Obviously, things like feel differently that way because they have, they're currently getting some wins, but I would properly assess them, 3 months from now and really make a judgment then.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, initial traction is people just, like, trying to farm, like, hoping that there's some sort of token that comes, that, like, the platform launches at the end of the day, which I think, like,
Yeah.
makes it kinda tough for Launch Lab because they just already have like, there's already the Radium token, um, and, like, I mean, Boop is already post token, um, so I don't know, I feel like there's definitely a component in for that. I mean, I feel like that's just generally crypto projects, people, like, pouring in at the new things just to try to farm them, hoping that they get some sort of airdrop.
Yeah, Boop is like tanking, right? I think Levi was short. To be honest, that was like the easiest short ever. Like, I thought the mechanics were
Yeah,
stupid, and it was what 300 FTV. It's like so
Yeah,
obvious.
I
yeah,
pulled the
super
short
cheap
like
for
last
that.
stream or two streams ago.
Yeah, let's see how the Boop token itself is doing.
It's gone down to 94 now from 300 FTV. I still have 16 days as well before I can get my 20,000 Boop tokens,
Yeah,
which is like now worth a thousand
I hope he
dollars.
kept the
Still not
short.
bad. Not gonna complain.
yeah, this is 'cause what was he looking at? Like, yeah, it was around like 300 when he started. So it was just straight down. Seems like it's just gonna keep going down. Because yeah, you had what'd you say you had for like the vesting or whatever?
Yeah, I got like an allocation. I guess I'm a KOL, guys. So I had like a small allocation, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna create a token, but not tell anyone about it. So which I did, and I named it "I will dump" because I want people to know that don't buy this token because you will get dumped on.
But it is linked to the
And yeah, I
Twitter
still got
account,
16
right?
days. Yeah, if you go there and type in "I will dump," you'll find the token. It's a picture of a Wojak on the toilet, and then you can see the creator is me. Oh, someone actually bought it a couple days ago. What the hell? Some green candles here.
What's the name of the website?
It's boop.fun. Also, this UI just really triggers me. I hate it when like these launch pads try to make their launch pad look like an NFT marketplace. It was just me.
I'll share this tab. Computer's not liking this. I think the site is just destroying my laptop. Um, I'm getting the spinning wheel of death. Not great. I just want to take a look at Fish's token. Might ape my full bag into it.
I mean, it's worth like 6,000 FTV, so it can't go any lower.
I know.
Is there a way to check like all the Believe app coins? Because the actual website, there's no website, right? It's just like a iPhone app, and you have to be in America, I think, to look at it.
I mean, yeah, it's just always bearish whenever there's just like an airdrop tab. And this is Adam Cochran's comment.
One small thing which I think Believe shot themselves in the foot with. You know how pump fund tokens have like a pump at the end of the CA, and same with Boop. You can see Boop.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's a huge thing because if you're like a trencher, right? You're on these terminals. it's very hard to tell where the token comes from because Believe app is actually comes from Meteora. And it's like, is it an actually a Believe app coin or something else? But like pump fund coins, you just know it's pump because it says pump at the end. Like I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, it's great marketing too. Just like, yeah, you're just on deck screener looking at like the trending tokens, and you see one that has the vanity address. Just like instant advertising. If it's a pumping coin, you're like, oh, they just pump on this launch pad.
Yeah. Like Bonk Fund has bonk at the end. I think Token Mill will have mill. No, it uses like base 58, so you can't have like I and capital I, but we'll have M1LL.
Yeah, it's above my knowledge grade to know how. I mean, at one point I did know how Pump Fun did put pump at the end of them all, but have since forgot. Speaking of, let's look at the OG. I mean, the best ever Pump Fun coin. Switch this to price.
But sometimes you forget that these big runners are from Pump.fun.
Yeah, like I think
Fart coin,
Fartcoin having pump at the end of it is like one of the best ads um, for
pump fund,
Pump
yeah.
Fun. Because like I don't know, I think I said this on the last stream, but like literally just like blue collar workers were talking about Fartcoin and how they owned like, I mean, they probably only own like a couple $100 of it, but um, still just interesting to hear like 40, 50-year-old adult men in like engineering talk about a fart coin.
I must say, Maple Story launching at 3 billion FDV is pretty fucking massive, guys. Like, I think Avalanche has done an amazing job with Web3 gaming.
Is this an XPC?
I didn't even know what Maple Story was. I feel like a old boomer.
It's this
Yeah, that
one
one, NXPC.
with the
Yeah.
little verified tag. Switch this back over.
So there is liquidity on LFJ, but this is tiny liquidity.
Some crazy price actions.
Yeah, honestly, I think the market's just due for correction. Like, probably not the best time to be buying shitters right now.
It's also something I always think about of like when there is like the launch coin and like Believe app kind of soaking up a lot of CT mindshare and a lot of liquidity. Like, how is that going to impact things? Um, but
Well, people like are super cynical. I think we've reached a point where like people just don't believe in anything. Like I've seen so many takes like, yeah, fucking hell, this is like another grift, blah blah blah. Which they're probably right, but I'm just honestly shocked that like no one was even willing to give them some praise for it.
yeah, because in general, it does just like it is just another vector for onboarding, and then people just approaching that with max toxicity is pretty tough for the space as a whole.
I mean, I honestly think that we underestimate how much trauma we've been from like January to March. I think that really wrecked a lot of people. I was watching Gainsey, he's been streaming on Pump Fun, and there's like a clip of him. And Gainsey's like super OG, and he was saying like, yeah, like he at his peak he had like I don't know how much he had, but it sounded like high eight figures, right? And now he says like he doesn't even have like he has after tax he doesn't even have eight figures now. It's like he said that he lost a lot. Um, and I think it just goes to show like this cycle has been really hard. the AI agent meta, like I bought Zero Bro and that thing went to zero, and then the guy turned out to be a scammer who faked his own death. Like it's kind of fucked up. And when you see that, you can't help but feel cynical.
Yeah, especially after going through like kind of a peak euphoria time in the trenches when like you could just ape some random shitter on a pump fund and it would 10x or something in like an hour, and now it's just like everything's kind of reverting, and you're down 90% in an hour.
Yeah, I was watching a clip from a marketing person in Web3 named Emily from Hype Partners, and she was saying like she was at Dubai for Token 2049 recently, and she said like apparently this year is like when the average crypto native is like more cynical than ever before, which I found quite interesting. And I think like there's two ways to this, right? Either you try and fix narrative and make them believe in something again, like what Believe app is trying to do, or you just double down and just go all in speculation and hyper gambling, which is what we'll do in Token V2.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit tough, especially too because like in the beginning when it's just like ape of like a new project that puts a bunch of money into KOL shouting it out. Um, there's no like vetting. Like nobody knows if it's just like some scammer behind it that's just like doing it with the intention of rugging, or if it's like an actual dedicated person that is looking to like actually make a good product. Um,
Well, this is why I started the trading community, right? Like we're trying to reform LFJ Discord. I noticed um, from 2024 onwards, like around the time when the ETF happened. I've been around crypto in 2017, and years ago, even during DeFi summer, like CT was a great place to get alpha. You can have organic conversations, like people were actually intellectually curious. Nowadays, I feel like CT has become like Instagram, where you only get the highlight reel of people's like best things, and most of the time they're actually trying to sell you something. And you soon realize like a lot of these influencers are also like, they're also working for Web3 marketing agencies, so they get paid to like say stuff and go on stream and do all these kind of things. Um, and also like, you realize also if you tweet a lot, it's like anytime you tweet bearish things, people get angry at you. So it becomes like a toxic positive feedback loop where like you're only incentivized just to bull post all the time, which is like nice, but if you're actually trying to get alpha and trying to figure out like is this the top or are we doomed, it can put you into some dirty traps. And I think that's why like I've noticed that on Twitter, people are very conscious of saying things like they're scared to get canceled or get mobbed or get attacked. But like in Discord or Telegram, it doesn't happen. People are free to say whatever. And the time that I realized that was remember Johnny Sarker? He's like the biggest AVAX bull. Um, and I always thought he was bullish all the time, but then whenever he came to Discord, he was telling us like, "Yeah, I'm going to start shorting AVAX here, like $19." I was like, "Whoa, you actually short AVAX? Like, I didn't know that was in your arsenal." But you'd never guess that from
yeah, no,
Twitter.
it's so much of like a bull post billboard of like showing your bags. But yeah, that's what's nice about the LFJ Discord. Everyone just kind of comes in and shares like their actual thoughts, and like it's more of a Discord's so much more of a
Yeah,
conversation forum where like you can ask people why they want to be short or what they're kind of looking at. Whereas like yeah, Twitter is just like a billboard of like this is great, and then people will reply, but it's not as much of a organic conversation and like sharing like the deep analytical thoughts.
yeah. Although we do get accused of being too bearish on Discord.
But I think that's just like more of a
And
reflection of like how people are actually thinking. Twitter is just just
yeah.
doesn't actually show the true
No, I think it's
thoughts.
good to have both sides, and the observer, it's up to the observer to decide like whether they want to be on the bullish side or the bearish side.
I think it's also tough too because a lot of like even just like from the early days of the trenches till now, and even CT in general, like anytime there's like something that actually does provide like high signal and alpha, like the kind of scammy people will just like capitalize on that. I mean, we saw that with like bundling, like I don't know, holders was always like a big metric you could go and look at, um, and see like,
Yeah.
oh, like a lot of people hold this coin. It has like relatively good distribution. You know, no one's holding like a massive bag of it. And then
Yep.
bundling got introduced and just like kind of made that metric much harder to kind of get any alpha from, because it could just be one dude trying to make it look like a bunch of people hold it, but he's
Yeah.
holding one button to sell, you know, like 10% of it at once.
So I'm against the feature bloat of these terminals like Axiom. It the first time you use it, you're like, whoa, you're like a kid in a candy store, so many tools to play with. But then you realize like, are they actually useful or are these things just noise? And I mean, from my experience, I found they're just noise. Like I don't think you use even a quarter of the features you need on Photon or Axiom.
Yeah, you kind of just need like the necessary features that can kind of help craft the narrative. Um,
Yeah, I mean, most of the time you just like look at the chart and then going Twitter to check the mind share. I mean, at least that's how I do it.
Yeah, and that's honestly like this little like search on X button is usually pretty effective, because like I don't know, for most of the pump fund meme coins, it's just like a bunch of scam accounts posting like very similar graphics and tweets, like bull posting it. But then if you go on a different one, it could just be like actual people kind of like talking about it or shilling it. Um, and even when like it's just that versus the kind of bot accounts, it makes like a big difference in like kind of evaluating the coin and how good it could be.
Right, guys, I just realized I'm late for a call, so I gotta bounce.
Yeah,
Catch you guys.
we'll wrap this up now. You know, we're about 7 minutes over. So thank you guys for coming out to another Trenches with Joe. We'll be back on. Actually, no, we won't have any streams next week. We'll be taking the week off because we'll be at Solana Accelerate and the Avalanche Summit. So if you guys, anyone in the audience is going to those, make sure to hit us up. You know, either me or Nasta or Fish or the LFJ account. Hit our DMs. Let us know that you're coming. We'll try to meet up. And you know, maybe film some content, do some buffoonery. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you, guys. See you.
So yeah, and let's fucking Joe.
Let's fucking